Hey folks, and welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our book for today is Visitors. This is the 12th book in the Nightmare Room series by R.L. Stine. Now there are aliens, swallowing disgusting aliens, an invasion, um, not attaching, but creating body parts in surgery, and yucky slime in this one. So if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, so here, the publisher is Avon. You can see that there, in blue. Just a second. There we go. I'll write it on screen if you can't see it well enough. Alright, so this is my third book. This is the third book I read in the Nightmare Room series. And this one has been slightly different than the other two. I mean, we had pretty lame superheroes. We had ghosts. And now aliens. Again, the picture on the cover is pretty cool, but they look more like Sasquatches or Bigfoots. You know, this looks like hair. And you don't actually see something like this in the book, which is a bit of false advertisement. Sorry. I'm tired today. You'll have to excuse me. Alright. So our story is quite a bit similar to The Howler. Like we have, so we have this young boy. He's 12 years old. His name is Ben Shapley. Not sure how to pronounce that surname. And he's obsessed with aliens. He really wants to find aliens. He's in all these chat rooms and forums, looking for, talking to other people. He really, really wants to meet an alien. And he starts his morning by reading in the chat rooms and, hoping for, he wants to prove to, not prove, but he wants to find aliens. He wants to meet them badly. And at school, everyone mocks him. At home, his parents really don't want him to be looking at this stuff. They're worried about him, so he has to hide it from them. And his brother, Will, mocks him and laughs at him for it. Oh, and they also have a dog named Biscuit. I just realized. Anyway, we'll get to that later. Right, so Ben reads in the morning a mail that says, there will be an invasion this week. They'll be coming. A guy named Xandor puts all these, like a list of things to look out for, like a replication of amphibians, frogs, and such, flashes of blue light, people acting strange. Anyway, Ben goes to school. There's some, the kids mock him because he also has an out belly button. Belly button's out instead of in. So he gets mocked for that. The kids need to write a paper, and Ben wants to write about aliens again, and he's mocked again for it. And he keeps looking for evidence. He thinks he finds something, and and he has two best friends, Summer and Jeff. They're twins. No, they don't look exactly alike. Yeah, the twins, they're his only friends. He used to have more friends, but because of all the obsession with aliens, people started to distance themselves from him. And so, throughout our story, Ben, thinks he finds all these clues. His brother loses his pet frog. At some point, he blames their dog Biscuit for eating him, but Biscuit didn't do it. He sees all these messages, and he's like, well, what's going on? It keeps telling Summer and Jeff, like, look, guys, right, so when he comes that morning to school, he found this rock that's making noises, and he wants to show it to Jeff and Summer. He's like, finally, I have proof. And then at lunch, after the whole thing with the paper, he shows it to them, and he's like, you can't hear anything. They look at him, no, we don't hear any sounds. Then a girl who's especially mean to him, her name's Ricky, she just throws it out and he can't find it later. And he goes home. So it continues, well, wait, what happened before that? Right, so it continues, he keeps discovering more clues. He goes to a walk behind his house after his mom makes him. Also, his parents begin to act weird as well, so he's like, oh no. He goes to a walk, and in a clearing behind their house, there's some woods. I forgot to mention he lives in New Mexico. So yes, in the woods there, he sees the figure 8 when he goes out to walk with Biscuit. And he's like, oh, a ship has been here because it's a perfect 8. So he steps into the 8. And he starts to feel shocks of electricity going through him. And he manages to jump out of it. And he's like, I have proof. I have to go take pictures. So he runs back home. But his parents don't want him to, they want him to stay for dinner. That's when they start acting weird. But later, after dinner, they go out. Jeff and Summer come over. He shows it to them. They still don't. Because he tells them, go into number 8, you will feel what I felt, but they don't feel anything. So, but then they hear noises, because it's a very quiet and clear night. So they start running, and Ben sees a flash of blue, but they don't catch whoever it is. So Summer and Jeff go home, he goes back home. His parents later come back, they continue to act weird. Then, and also Ben has this teacher, Miss Crankshaw. She's also a friend of his. She's also in this alien community. So he can at least tell her about it. Ben's into photography. Anyway, Ben keeps thinking he sees, some more signs. And he's freaking out. Then he and Summer go ice skating. And she also tells him, Ben, you gotta stop with all this. It's getting really hard to be friends with you. Poor Ben, he doesn't want to lose his friends. The only 2 friends he has left. So he goes ice skating, and then he sees Ricky. And he decides to, he sees that she's making the number 8 on ice skates. But that's something a lot of ice skaters do. Anyway, he approaches her, and he asks her, asks her, are you an alien? First he asks, were you the one in my house? Because, he suspects, what if it was her running to play a joke? So, and then he gets proof. Her eyes turn like this blue. And and her voice changes. But then Ben falls and loses consciousness. So when he wakes up, Summer helps him to get home. He tells her, but she's like, Ben, you hit your head. So then he goes home. And when he gets home, he overhears his parents having a conversation. And they say home planet. Ooh. He goes up to his room and he finds it completely trashed. The bed's been broken, the poster's been ripped, and there's a message on his monitor saying, stop looking for us. This is your last warning. His parents call the police. But then it's, he starts telling them, no, I don't think it's a burglar, it's aliens. And the cops, exasperated, it looks like he has to meet quite a few alien enthusiasts. I should have mentioned this in the beginning. They live in an area where there's a military base, and a lot of people believe in aliens in that area. I think maybe it's supposed to kind of be like the whole Area 51 thing. So his parents are very angry to find out that he's been talking in the chat rooms, even though they told him not to do that. And they ground him. But he doesn't stay grounded. he escapes because he said, he's like, I have to find proof. And the only place he thinks to go is to Ricky. He needs to follow Ricky. So he goes, he bikes to her neighborhood, and he starts to follow her when she leaves home. He follows her to the drugstore, the supermarket. Then he follows her into a plant shop. And he sees that she's eating fertilizer. That's never really explained. But yeah, she's eating fertilizer. So he snaps a picture of that. And then he quickly hides because she almost sees him. After that, he's going to go home. He meets Summer and Jeff. And they're, he tells them about it. Look, I have proof Ricky's an alien. And they're like, well, that's it, Ben. We can't be friends with you anymore. So they leave. Poor Ben, he goes back home. And everywhere there, he suddenly starts to see sign of the aliens. He's seeing people that are possessed. He sees people eating grass. It's actually clear if that legitimately happens, though. Because it's something later on in the book. Anyway, he goes back home. He sneaks out another day to look for some more clues. And then finally he goes to school the next day. And he's thinking, the last person I have to turn to is Miss Crenshaw. Maybe she'll believe me. He's thinking she'll believe me. He goes to the photography room at school, but she's not there. So he goes into the dark room to see maybe she's there developing photos. He knocks, and then he goes in, and he's met with a lot of cages full of aliens. Now, the way they're described, they don't look like this. They're like these little fur balls. The drilling mucus and everything. Yuck. And then the leader of the alien race is like a bigger fur ball, size of a football. It kind of reminded me of the plot in Animorphs, because, I can't remember the name of the aliens there anymore, but they required hosts. And so do these aliens. They need hosts to live, essentially. So he sees all of these, and he's horrified, and he realizes, oh no, they're already here. All the furry balls, the alien furry balls. I don't remember, I think they do mention their, no, they don't mention their species, I think. Anyway, he goes. I have had to mention at some point there's something weird in the attic, which makes him think that his parents might be aliens, but that happens before. Right, so it's like, oh no, but then he hears voices, so he hides in the little bathroom that's in the development room. Right? No, in the dark room, sorry. So he's hiding there, and then he sees that Ricky comes in, and two other children come with her. So they are all possessed by the aliens, and they're planning to get more hosts with the school. Through the school, they have so many young students. And, Ben's like peeking out, like, who's with her? And then he realizes it's Summer and Jeff. So they've also been captured, and now they have hosts inside them, which explains their behaviors as well. And then like Ben's like, oh no, what to do? And do something, and then he hears Miss Crankshaw coming. He's like, yes, she's going to stop him, but she's also one of them. She's also had a furry alien ball inside of her. So Jeff, this alien, said my human ate something sticky, and he goes to wash his hands. And Ben has nowhere to hide. It's a small bathroom. He tries to flatten himself against the wall, but that obviously doesn't work. And then Jeff pulls him out angrily, and all of them together force him to swallow one of the aliens. The alien balls. And then they release him, now you'll become one of us. The alien will take over you. So he starts to go home, paddle home, and he keeps getting pain. He feels pain in his stomach. And the alien's talking to him in his mind, trying to take over. And he says, stop hurting me. And Ben doesn't understand what he's saying. He's not hurting him. But he is. But he does manage to get home. You know, his parents are shocked. It's early morning. Why are you back from school? And he's like, I didn't feel good. He's like, I can't tell them. The nurse sent me home. So they're like, oh, come on, you know, go rest. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go rest. And he goes to his bed. And he goes to his room and lies in his bed. Like, it was mentioned that his bed was destroyed. But, like, did his parents get him a new one? Because it's never mentioned. I know it's not important, but I just found that funny. Like, it's never mentioned that he cleaned up his room or anything, so I just assumed he went back to lie in a broken bed with his room still trashed. Yeah, I'm sure he cleaned it. Right, so he thinks he's going to die, he's feeling really poorly, and then he loses consciousness. But then he wakes up again. He's like, is the alien still inside? And he's like, no, my thoughts are my own. So he somehow killed the alien. Then he looks up and sees his parents in the doorway. And they're like, Ben, are you alright? You were talking to yourself. And his parents are like, we have something to tell you, Ben. Come with us. Or, no, before that, they already start telling him, Ben, you know why you're really obsessed with aliens so much, son? That's because you're an alien. Who saw that coming? Actually, I was kind of wondering about that. Like, before I reached the middle of the book, I was like, is Ben an alien? Maybe? I don't know, I had a thought like that. But, anyway, he starts laughing, and I'm not an alien. I'm like, you are, son. We found you. We found you in the clearing behind the house, the same clearing he went to. And they take him upstairs to the attic. Now, they lied to both their sons and told them that the attic, is still being built, and it can't go up there. But it has been built, and it just has a closet, and in it, there's this holographic, there's this cube that has a hologram with a short message from his real parents. He's the last remaining of their species. So I guess a little bit like Superman, maybe. He was also sent in a ship. But yes, so his parents found him 12 years ago. Or that'd be 11 years ago. But his parents found him 12 years ago in the clearing because they saw some weird lights and they went to check it out. And at first they were scared, but then they went back and they found him, lying there. I hope he was at least wrapped. Lying there, and they immediately fell in love with him. You were so cute and helpless. Oh yes, he's a baby. He was a baby, sorry. So they take him, they took him, and decided that, they're gonna adopt him. It's never mentioned how they adopted him. How did they explain him being there? It doesn't matter, I suppose. So they show him the cube. There's the message from his real parents. Which, as always in these stories, the aliens are quite humanoid. So then Ben looks at himself, at his photos. At the photo, I mean. Yeah? He looks at it. He's trying to figure out what's different about them. Then he realizes they don't have ears and no belly buttons. That's innovative, I suppose. At least something about them isn't entirely human, although I'm sure there's people who are born without ears and belly buttons, but never mind. So his parents apparently was, wait, how do I have ears and a belly button? So his parents apparently took him to a surgeon who made him ears and a belly button. And the mom's like, I guess he decided to make you an outie belly button because it was easier than making an innie belly button, the one that's inside. And all I could think of, okay, but how? I mean, okay, he made him ears. I would assume he'd need flesh, and then he would attach them, right? But how would that work? I mean, I assume this was done when he was a baby, right? You'd think, well, they wouldn't let him wander around like that without ears for a couple of years. But, okay. Now, I'm just thinking, the older he grew, did the surgeon have to make them big in advance? I just have so many questions about that. And also, did he ask them why their child was born like that? Did he ask to see medical records? Which they obviously couldn't show. So many questions. But we'll skip over that. Alright, so Ben's not human. Although he's a very humanoid alien. Which explains why he managed to kill the little furry alien inside of him. Because he's not human. Which begs to differ if inside his anatomy is different. Does the fact he has no belly button help with that? I don't know. So Ben's like, no, I gotta stop, and he asks, is Will an alien too? Which is a bit of a stupid question. Because you think they would, they would tell both of them or something. But yes, they said, no, and Will is our human child. We had him shortly after, and we got you. Not shortly, but a year later. I assume the mom was probably pregnant. So do you want us to tell Will that you're an alien? And he's like, no, don't tell him. Which, I mean, would he even believe them? Like, it's not like Ben can do something that can show him, right? So now Ben has to think of a plan how to stop the aliens. And how to stop the aliens. He's thinking, what are they going to do in school? Because they told him tomorrow we will, commence our plan. Because the furry alien balls, they're dying. They can't be that long without human hosts. And their king, their leader, is keeping them alive. But they have to be near him. But even then, they need human hosts. So, he's thinking, Ben's lying there thinking, what are they planning? And then he's like, I got it. I know what they're planning tomorrow. So the plan is, the next day is school picture day. Because his mom tells him, go wear a nicer shirt. She flattens his hair over his ears. Now he realizes why she's been doing that for years. I wonder how well his ears look. I guess no one paid attention. But yes, so he goes to school and goes over to Miss Cranshaw, who thinks now he's one of them. And he's like, what can I do to help? Okay, so how it works, there's a curtain. The kids go behind the curtain. And Summer, Jeff, and Ricky, they all help to shove an alien down their throat. Which I guess works super fast, because reasons? As it took a while for it to happen to Ben. I get it, they might be shocked, but you think they would start screaming or something. I guess it's just not like that with Ben, because he's not human. So Ben has to think. They keep shoving the alien furballs into children. And he's like, what do I do? And he's like, okay, the leader must be here. He realizes if he destroys the leader, all of the other alien furballs will die. So he picks up, all the cages are behind them. He picks up the sheet that's on the cages, finds the leader, and swallows him. Yes, he swallows him. Ricky and Summer run to him, angry, like, what are you doing? So he starts to, I suppose, digest him. Ew. He's gonna be on the bathroom for a while, I think. In the bathroom, sorry. For a while. So, yes, now Jeff is... not Jeff, sorry. So now you see the kids suddenly falling to the floor. The twitching. Ben falls to the floor, holding onto his stomach. It hurts like hell. And he's like, the leader's probably way stronger than the average furball alien. So is he going to be able to defeat him? Is he going to kill him? Ben's like, I have to take this chance. I have to save the school. So he... Yeah. Oh yeah, the teacher runs to him and says, oh no, quickly call an ambulance. Ben loses consciousness. And then we reach the last chapter. Which doesn't really give us a good conclusion. Okay, so they're still in school. And the Ben and Summer remember what happened to them. They're like, of course we knew it's you. And don't you remember what happened? They mention again. They mentioned the story of how they met. They met in first grade, and Ben wanted to impress Summer and he stuck a pea up his nose. Yeah, and then Summer and Jeff tell him, well, ask, how did you defeat the alien? And he's like, what do? I can't tell him I'm an alien, and that's how I defeated him. And then, maybe one day I'll find my alien roots, and I can think of how. You don't have a ship. The ship that brought you to Earth disappeared. It's not like it's in your parents' garage. Right? So how are you going to... Okay. Never mind. So then Ben just tells them the truth. Well, actually, I'm an alien. They laugh at him and say, oh, come on, Ben. Nice one. Very funny. And that's it. That's how the story ends. There we go. Another book in the Nightmare Room series. This one was not bad. I did enjoy it for what it was, but there's just so many questions. I mean, I understand that these books are written for children, so they're gonna be pretty short. Yeah, he's not gonna make like a 300-page book. But still, some of it feels choppy. It almost feels like the ending was supposed to have more pages to it. I don't know, maybe my copy is missing pages. I don't know, it just feels like there's supposed to be more to it. Like, it's a bit of a choppy ending. The ambulance came and just left? And what about now? Do Ricky and Miss Crenshaw also remember? What do you do about them? Okay, I also forgot to say Ben was like this one, and the aliens are looking for him because he's the only one who would be able to defeat them. But obviously, they didn't know it was Ben, so he did defeat them. But yeah, we don't really get how he defeated them. How did the aliens arrive? Are these all the aliens? Will there be more coming? How did they arrive there if they're little furballs who can't really do anything? How did they manage to make Ricky swallow one of them? I thought at first when I read it that Ricky might be, already an alien. Before I knew how the aliens really were. Again, the cover is misleading on that part. You think they're... Okay, so they're these creatures with a lot of hair and really poor teeth and blue eyes. Like there. Then maybe they're pretty big, but they're not like that. So how? How did they make her swallow one of them in order to... Like, they can't really do any movements or anything. I don't remember in Animorphs, those guys have technologies. So that's how they do it, but I don't know. It hurts my brain to think about it. A little bit. I'm just saying, I think Mr. Stine could have added some more details in here. That would have been nice. Because it just kind of abruptly ends. Guess the ambulance wasn't needed at all. Yeah. Oh well, it is what it is, I suppose. Just again, more details would have been nice. And the cover, once again, is very good. I feel like, though, it would fit to a different kind of story, not one about aliens. Because, I mean, yeah, you could say there might be aliens, but it could also be another number of creatures. I mean, the ones on the cover. But, yeah. So far out of their Nightmare Room series, which is another thing I don't get. Like, it's called the Nightmare Room, right? My first assumption, back when I read The Shadow Girl, was that the main events in these books happen in a room. Or, you know, the room just takes these children to a different dimension or something. And so far, the only out of these three books that I read here, that the main thing and the main problem was actually in the room, was in the Howler. Because the ghosts are actually there. Here, there's just the attic, which, is that supposed to be our room? I'm just saying, I don't get why it's called the Nightmare Room when, at least in these two, not a lot happens in the room. If you get what I'm saying. But, yeah, I suppose I shouldn't think too much about it, but I don't know. Yeah, it could have been a bit better. But yeah, overall, not a bad story, I suppose, if you want some light alien fiction. Although I would recommend you read Animorphs instead, because at least there you actually have alien technology and everything. Here it's kind of far too super light aliens and science fiction. Right. Alright, folks, so that is it. Let me know, have you read The Visitors? What did you think about it? Do you disagree? Did you read it as a kid? What do you remember about it? Alright, so that is it, folks. Now remember, collect what you're passionate about and share it on YouTube. Bye!